Hey guys, I just want to make a quick little video and talk about the last video that I made. It got a lot more questions than I was anticipating, and I just wanted to talk about a few of those. So, the video, if you haven't seen it, I was just talking about John DeLynn. He's talking to this guy named Bart, and a lot of the criticisms were things like, if you're getting into apologetics, you need to do a lot more research. You need to go back and read some things. I just want to make it very clear. I am not an apologetic. I am far, far too sensitive for that kind of world. So just clearing that up right now. Now, one, with Bart, he made a really bad joke about the Tower of Babel, which I addressed because it was a bad joke and it was in bad taste. And then talking about how he does not believe the Tower of Babel actually happened, and how he doesn't believe that Abraham existed. And to me, that tells me that you don't believe in God. Which for him, whatever, because I'm not really talking about him and his beliefs. This is totally focused on John DeLynn and what he comes across as, but then what this clip tells me instead. And for me, I do not think that you can call yourself a Christian and believe that Abraham did not exist. And a big part of that is because if you're a Christian, you follow Jesus Christ. You believe that he was the Son of God and existed and did all of these things that the New Testament says he did. Now, importantly, the New Testament, Jesus talks about Abraham in the New Testament. He specifically references Abraham, and he doesn't say, oh, this guy that maybe existed, Abraham, blah, 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 blah. He says, no, Abraham tells us this. Abraham made these promises. I firmly believe that if you don't think Abraham exists, then you're not a Christian. And some people say, Christianity comes in all forms. Sure, but if you're a Christian, you follow Christ. Christ followed Abraham. So, I mean, it is what it is. And that's kind of my point, because John DeLynn, when he first started doing all this Mormon story stuff, and honestly, up until just a little bit ago, from what I've seen, he makes it seem like he is just trying to help people who were Mormons and then LDS, come out of the faith and kind of find their way through it. And it came across as like a guiding people, how you kind of like deconstruct your faith and then you still have a belief in Jesus, and so you're just not doing it in like the religious sense. It's more of like your own relationship kind of thing. Like, that's really what it came off as. And this clip really showed me that's not what it is. Like, he's completely taking people away from God by believing in this, which for Bart doesn't really matter to me because he's off doing whatever, but for John DeLynn, that matters to me, especially with this stuff that he's dealing with right now, because people are saying there's a lot of brand confusion. One side says that's not a big deal. The other side said it is a big deal. And this is kind of why I think it's a big deal, because there is brand confusion. And if he's pulling people away from God completely, then you want to clear up this brand confusion, because you think you're going to, and I know the whole argument, well, if your faith is strong, then it doesn't matter. Sure. But I think this is an issue. And that's that. So that's point number one. Point number two, because some people were, saying, and I honestly, I was not expecting this video to get traction. So it just kind of threw me for a loop here with all of the comments on there. My point number two is that Bart is a well-researched biblical scholar who's clearly put many years into this, and I'm not saying that he is not well-researched and well-versed in what he does. That's not my point at all. My point, for people who stumble across a video like that and say, oh my gosh, this guy who's so deep into the Bible and so educated says that the Tower of Babel and Abraham, didn't exist, that stuff didn't happen, he must be right. it's just not true. You know, you can't definitively say the Tower of Babel didn't happen, and you can't definitively say that Abraham didn't exist. You just can't. You can absolutely make educated guesses, but I just kind of want to remind people that it's not definitive. A lot of things are still theories. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not weight to them, sure, but it doesn't have to be this giant, like, earth shattering thing if you're seeing this information. You know, take it, research into it, fine, but understand that man does not know everything. You just can't. Whether you're religious or not, man cannot know everything. So, that was point number 2. Point number 3, which is more for me personally. I mean, mostly, there's a lot of criticism, and I am open to criticism. I'm a human, I make mistakes, that's fine. Constructive criticism, happy to take it. Some of those comments, those were just mean, guys. And that's whatever, you know, I'm working on the whole thick skin thing, right? But like, that's why I'm not doing apologetics. I'm a human being. I'm a hormonal being. I mean, it is what it is. But like, guys, be constructive, criticize, 100%. But we don't need the name calling, you know? We don't need the belittling. It's just, I don't know. I mean, if you would walk up to my face and say that, I guess, fine, go ahead. But I mean, geez, I don't know. Maybe like reflect a little bit before we say some stuff. I feel like that's really important. Coming into the, you know, social media space, I understand it's part of it. And I'm not really like, oh, you guys are so mean, how dare you? That's not really my point. My point is we want to retain our humanity, you know? So I get that it's hard to watch videos and then recognize that that is a person, you know, because you're never going to interact with me, so it doesn't really matter. But it still does. And not even for me, but like for you, you know, recognize that you are speaking to a human. You know, would you, I don't know, would you say that to your mom? Would you say it to your kids? Like, just, I don't know. Let's just try to be kind, okay? And retain our humanity in these spaces because I feel like it is important. It's really important to be a human, especially in these crazy times, you know what I mean? But anyway, those are my main points, and I want to leave you with this deep wisdom that I think is really important. And I need to remind all of you guys, every single one of you, okay? Whoever you are, Christian, not Christian, person, not person, maybe you're a lizard, whatever. Jesus loves you, and this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Peace.